Okay, get yourself ready for your morning practice. So sit yourself on a lift and come into a good cross-legged position and have a little wriggle about. Make sure that you feel like you're sitting level on the cushion or whatever you're sitting on. And then just find your levelness. Sorry, I haven't put my microphone on. Let me just do that. Bear with me. So you should be able to hear me better. Can you hear me better? Yeah, okay. So just find that initial levelness and then hold onto your knees. Elevate your heart area up to the ceiling. Draw in your shoulders down away from your ears. Look down at the floor, look at something that doesn't move. Just focus on filling the lungs from the bottom to the top and emptying them from the top to the bottom. Just filling the lungs from the bottom to the top and emptying them from the top to the bottom. Release your knees, bring your hands into Namaste. Push the palms firmly together, lengthen from your armpits into your elbows. Fill your lungs from the bottom to the top and empty them from the top to the bottom. Close your eyes with the exhalation. And just feel that the chest expands with the in-breath. Relaxes with the out-breath. Just observe your level of energy, whether that's high or low or somewhere in the middle. With an exhalation, draw your chin down to meet your chest. Lift the chest up to meet your chin. Spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude. Something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area. And then release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. And then raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Hold on to your knees and lift up into the chest. Elevate the heart area up to the ceiling and draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Take a deep inhalation, and then with an exhalation, turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across. Your abdomen and your ribs and your shoulders. Just using your out breath to intensify the turn. Just observing the balance of the seat bones beneath you. Just ensuring that both seat bones feel evenly weighted. And then come back to the center, hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest, and then turn to the right. Sorry, turn to the left, turn the other way. I think I might have said left last time, so just turn the other way. Breathe in through your nose and out through your nose, listening to the breath. Focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. And then come back to the center. Just come off your lift and then sit back on your heels. Have the big toes together and your knees apart. Just sitting back on your heels, pressing your shins into the floor. Just allowing the shins to press into the floor. Press the shin bone into the shin skin. And elevate the heart area up to the ceiling. Come forwards, hinging at the hips, stretching the palms forwards, squeezing the seat bones down onto the heels, and then bring the forehead down. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the sound of the inhalation and the exhalation. Observe as you press the hands into the floor, how you open up around the bottom of the spine, drawing the tailbone consciously down to the floor, drawing the seat bones down onto the heels, lengthening from the hips into the armpits, into the elbows, the wrists, the palms. Come up onto your knees, have your little fingers on the edge of the mat, have the feet as wide apart as the mat. And then come up into dog down. Tightening the kneecaps. Drawing the fronts of the thighs up towards the top of the leg and pressing the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. Pressing the palms into the floor, lifting out of the palms into the wrists, into the elbows, the shoulders, up into the hips. Observe your internal balance of action. Aim to make the left side even with the right side, or vice versa, whichever is your predominant side. step your feet forward, come up into a standing position, and get a couple of blocks for your hands. Bring your feet as wide apart as your mat. So bring your feet as wide apart as your mat, feeling that your heels are on the edge of the mat. Just look down, make sure that your toes are in line with each other. Bring your hands into your hips. Your little toes on the edge of the mat, have the heels on the edge of the mat, just using your sense of feeling to gauge where your feet are. Take a deep inhalation. Tighten the kneecaps, turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, and then hinge at the hips. Come forwards, keeping the head lifted. Find the blocks with your hands beyond fingertips. Turn the fronts of the thighs in, lift the seat bones, project the chin and the chest forwards. And again, go back to that balance of internal action. Make the less willing side mirror the more willing side. If you can straighten your back, if you can go down lower without aggravating your back or losing the extension of the legs or the spines, go down lower. As soon as you lose the extension of the legs, the extension of the spine, you've gone too far. Keep your weight back in your heels, so hit the shins back. Projecting the chin and the chest forwards, projecting the legs out of the feet. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. If you can reach around the backs of your heels without bending your back, just working entirely from the hips. And you can, but it can be quite strong for your back, so just wherever your hips are, wherever your back is this morning, just be observant. Okay, bring your hands into your hips, come up into a standing position, and then come up into Tadasana. The inner edge of the feet together, lift the chest. Activate the legs, lift out of the feet into the legs, into the hips, into the spine, into the arms. Bring your arms out nice and wide, in towards your chest, and then step or jump your feet apart. Turn your left toes in, your right leg and foot all the way out, and then really work to straighten the legs, to turn the legs in the opposite way to Tadasana, to turn them outwards, from the inside out, especially the front leg, and then to come over. If you remember last week, we were using the belt between the two hands, pulling into the belt to extend the arms, to make the arms lighter. So activate that. Use the belt if you've forgotten how it feels. Lift up into the chest. Turn the chest up to face the ceiling. Turn the abdomen up to face the ceiling. Reach up, come back to the center. Swap the feet around, turn the right toes in. The left leg and foot all the way out. And then come over to the other side. So just look down at the bottom foot. Make sure that your head is directly in line with that foot. If it's not, then lift the chest a little more. Squeeze the front leg buttock bone in a little. Look up. Drop the bottom hand down onto the floor on the big toe side of the foot. Bring the other hand onto the little toe side of the foot. Turn that back leg out and then step yourself back into dog down, this time with the hands, with the feet and the hands kind of parallel to each other. Shoulder width, hip width apart. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And then come down onto your knees, sit back on your heels. And just observe how the body feels changed, how your energy has changed. Just lifting up into the chest. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Okay, we're going to come down onto our side. So just stretch yourself along your mat and then stretch your arm away, have your elbow in line with your shoulder, and then bend your elbow and support your head. Anantasana. So the first stage of this is just to have the feet press in together, have the little toe press in into the floor, and just have your hand on your hip and then just see if you can balance. So it's easier said than done, isn't it? But the more you activate the elbow into the floor, the more you press the armpit into the floor, the more you press that little toe of the floor foot into the floor, the easier that becomes. And then bring your hand in front of you and then bring the foot, the top foot, bring it up into as high up into the inner groin as you can, like you're doing the tree pose, virasana. And then really consciously push the little toe of the straight leg firmly into the floor. And then press the hand into the inner knee. Squeeze the front leg buttock bone forwards, lift the chest. So it becomes a bit of a balance, doesn't it? If your leg is straight on the floor, if that little toe is pressing firmly into the floor, if the elbow is pressing firmly into the floor, then you find your balance. And then the next stage, you might need a belt for this, is to get hold of the big toe and then just stretch that leg up. And again, just to, if you can't reach the big toe, then just throw a belt around the foot and then lift. See if you can find your balance. Squeeze the front, the lifted leg, buttock bone forwards. Squeeze that lifted leg, buttock bone forwards. So you're not doing this, you're not sinking in that lifted leg, buttock bone. You're squeezing the buttock bone forwards. So you're lengthening from the inner groin into the inner heel. Squeezing the front leg, buttock bone forwards. Okay, and then release. And then roll onto your front. And then just roll onto the other side. So I'm just going to go this way, just so that I'm still facing the camera, but you can just roll onto the other side, whichever feels better. So just stretch yourself along the mat first of all. Just make sure that your elbow is in line with your shoulder. Stretching the arm along the floor, and then bend the elbow and support the head with the hand. Press the toes into the floor, making sure that your heels are in line with your hips, in line with your shoulders. And then just balance. Bring the hand onto the thigh. Just find your balance. If you can't balance, then maybe your feet aren't in line with your hips, or your elbows in line with your shoulders. So press the little toe of the floor foot firmly into the floor. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Just finding that initial balance. And then bend the leg into the inner groin, like you're doing the tree pose for virasana. Bring that foot up into the thigh. And then at this stage, you can bring your hand in the front, really reactivate that leg, the straight leg. Press the little toe of the straight leg into the floor. And then feel where this hip of this bent leg is. Is it pushing towards the wall behind you, in which case your balance is going to be a little unlevel, or can you squeeze that front leg buttock bone forwards? Bring your hand onto the inner knee, squeeze that front leg buttock bone forward, so you lengthen into the inner groin, from the inner groin into the inner knee, squeezing that front leg buttock bone forward. Just finding that balance through the foot of the straight leg, through the elbow of the forearm, squeezing that front leg buttock bone forwards. Okay, and then just bring your hand in front of you just to find your balance, and then get hold of the big toe or use the belt, and then stretch that leg up to the ceiling, pressing the little toe of the straight leg into the floor, squeezing that front leg buttock bone forward. So you don't want it to go back like this, that will kind of make you roll over. So really working with the balance of that little toe side of the foot and the elbow, and then squeeze the front leg buttock bone forwards. The lifted leg buttock bone, squeeze it forwards. Keep the straight leg really firmly straight. Keep the elbow really firmly pressing into the floor, squeezing the front leg buttock bone forwards. Okay, and then release, and then just roll onto the front of your body, and then sit yourself back on your heels. Just spend a moment to observe how your energy has changed, how much your energy has opened up around the lower to middle back. Just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And then come onto all fours, have your hands shoulder width apart, have your toes, step back a little, have your feet as wide apart as your hips, and then come back up into dog down. So anantasana, sometimes we use it as preparation for other poses, but as a pose of its own right, it does help to open up the lower back especially. Press the hands into the floor. Press them fully into the floor so there's no air underneath the palms of the hands. And then lift the seat bones up to the ceiling. Work to straighten the back. Squeezing the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs so that you can really elongate the spine. And then from here we're going to go into rajakapotasana. If you prefer not to come into this from dog down, then before we go into rajakapotasana, go down onto all fours, onto your knees. Have your knees underneath your hips, your hands underneath your shoulders. And then just follow the rest of the instructions. If you're coming into it from dog down, then bend that right knee, bring the right knee forwards, make contact with the chest, with the right wrist, not with the chest. Bring the right knee to make contact with the right wrist, with that right foot underneath the left thigh. And then work to stretch that left leg away. Come up onto the fingertips. Turn the straight leg, that back leg, turn it, the front of the thigh inwards like you're doing Tadasana. So that the back of the thigh broadens from the big toe to the little toe side. So that the hips come level. Come up onto the fingertips and then lengthen up into the chest. Push the chin to the ceiling if you can. Turn the crease of the elbows to face the front if you can. Lengthening into that back leg, lengthening up into the chest. Pushing the knees away from each other. And then we're just going to come down onto our elbows. Interlock the fingers, just come down onto the elbows, just have a little wriggle about. So we come into the yin version of the pose. Just have a little wriggle about in the hips. And then create 2 fists with your hands, and then place one fist on top of the other, and then note which fist is on the top. And then bring your head down and rest your head down on the fists. Press the forehead into the fist into the forehead. And relax into the pose. So rather than consciously extending, just allow gravity to do its thing. Let the body relax into the pose and feel how the right glute really lengthens out. Let gravity do the pose for you. So soften the muscles rather than extending them. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. So let the legs relax. Let the body rest into the floor. Try and stay on the top of the kneecap rather than rolling the leg out too much. Just let the legs relax. So this is a bit of a yin version of the pose. Just allowing gravity to do the work for you. It takes some commitment to relax into it, especially as there's probably quite an intense sensation running through the body, running around the hip. But just as much as you can, just let the body relax. Raise your head, turn. Raise your head, bring your hands back onto the floor. Come back onto the fingertips. Activate that back leg lift up into the chest. Just reactivating pose. And then bring the palms down, flat into the floor. Turn the toes under that back foot. Step in a little. And then either go back onto all fours, bend that right knee back onto all fours, or come back up into dog down. Just feel how the body feels different. Just allow the body to adjust into your dog down. Make sure your feet are in line with each other. Hands are in line with each other. Maybe it feels a bit uneven at the hips. So from here, either come down onto your knees first, or stay in dog down for a moment, and then bend the left knee. Bring the left knee forward to make contact with the left wrist, left foot underneath the right thigh, and then stretch that right leg away. Come up onto the fingertips, beyond the fingertips, and then lengthen the chest up to the ceiling. Turn that back leg in consciously. Keep the leg straight, press the foot into the floor. Lift up into the chest, just feeling the openness of the side abdominal walls. Lengthening up consciously, extending into the pose. And then come down onto your elbows. So a little wriggle in your hips, just letting the body relax a little into the pose. And then create a couple of fists, put one fist on top of the other, but have them the other way around this time. So if it was the left one on the top last time, have the right one on the top. And then rest the forehead down on the top fist. Press the forehead into the fist into the forehead. Just spend a little time just allowing the body to sink into the floor. Have the elbows wide enough apart just to give you some natural balance, but I don't really want you to activate the pose. I want you to relax into it. So the yin version of the pose, of the pigeon pose. Just let the body relax as much as you can. Sometimes that does dictate that you bring your elbows wider apart. Relax into the floor. So this is really good for a number of reasons. It just stretches out the muscles, helps you to relax the muscles to allow them to stretch a little more. Also really good preparation for padmasana, the lotus position. Because in the lotus position, the legs are crossed but with feet on top of the thighs, and you can kind of feel how this pose perhaps leans into that action. Just allowing the hips to soften, to consciously relax into the floor. So this is when you do this pose from a yin perspective, it's about trying to let the entire body relax. Which is kind of easier said than done, isn't it? But work from the hips first. Kind of the true final yin pose is where you bring your head onto the floor, you stretch your arms out and just let your head rest on the floor. Arms either side the body, and then you relax into it. But for this purpose, I kind of prefer to stay on the elbow. Okay, you lift your head off the fists, bring your hands back onto the floor, and then just consciously reactivate your pose, extend into the legs, lift up into the chest, elevate the heart area to the ceiling, turning the crease of the elbows forwards to broaden the collarbone, lift up into the chest. And then bring the palms flat down onto the floor, turn your toes under, go up into dog down or back into all fours, and then from all fours into dog down. And just feel how the hips feel more even, perhaps. Just go into your dog down, activating the legs, activating the kneecaps, pressing the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. Again, going into that observation of action, that balance of action, balance of internal action. Okay, come down onto your knees and sit back on your heels. And then just observe how your energy has changed. And then come forward into Adho Mukha virasana, just sitting back on the heels, stretching forwards into the chest and into the arms. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. So it's a little bit of a mix of methods, but sometimes they can really complement each other. Okay, bring your hands back onto the floor underneath your shoulders, and then push yourself up, sitting back into virasana. Just feeling the energy around the head and around the chest. And then just sit directly on the floor if you can, and then come into cross legs. Maybe you can try half padmasana. Just sitting back on the heels. Maybe you can, after rajakapotasana, full padmasana becomes a little more available. But if you've got bad knees, then half padmasana at the most, swastikasana if it's aggravating your knees. So you can go from full padmasana into half, just for balance. Hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest. And then turn to the right side, digging the backhand into the floor and consciously rotating your abdomen from the left to the right. Come back to the centre, and then turn to the left again, digging the backhand into the floor, turning the abdomen, turning the ribs, turning the shoulders. And then gently come back to the centre. Whichever way you're crossing your legs, whether you're in just normal cross legs or half padmasana, I want you to do it the other way. So bring the other leg onto the top. Or just stay in normal padmasana, but just cross your legs from one way to the other. So just whichever way you did last time, do the opposite. If you did full padmasana last time, just see if you can do that for a moment. Rolling onto the front edge of the seat bones, lifting up into the chest. Again, just being conscious of your knees, lifting consciously out of the hips up into the heart area, drawing the shoulders down. If you're in full padmasana, then just go into half, just to give you stronger balance on the floor. Lift up into the chest and then turn again to the right side. Just feel that the seat bones are level on the ground. And then come back to the centre, hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest. Take a deep inhalation. And then turn to the left. And then gently come back to the centre. Just come straighten your legs out and then come down onto your back into baddha konasana. So a lot of hip openers. So come down onto your back into baddha konasana, soles of the feet together. If there's stiffness in your hips or resistance in your hips, you can always put some blocks on the outsides of your thighs just to support your hips. Otherwise, just you let the floor draw the hips open. And again, just to a degree, allowing gravity to draw the knees down to the floor. But consciously, I want you to push your heels together so that it doesn't become completely passive. You activate the hips by pressing the heels together. Press the heels really firmly together. Press the outer edge of the foot really firmly together. And then lengthen the tailbone away from the sacrum and up towards the ceiling so that the abdomen can draw down into the spine and bring the lumbar down onto the floor. Have your hands on your lower ribs for a few moments and just observe your breath. Observe the inhalation and the exhalation. Observe how your abdomen rises to accommodate the in-breath, how it lowers to accommodate the out-breath. Let the legs relax for a moment, but then reactivate the heels. Reactivate the heels. Stretch your arms up to the ceiling, interlock the fingers right into the webbing of the palms, and then turn the palms all the way out and extend your arms along the floor. If there's stiffness in your shoulders, put a folded blanket or some blocks underneath your hands just to support your shoulders. Otherwise, press the heels consciously together. Turn the tailbone up to the ceiling a little, keeping the hips down on the floor. Draw the abdomen towards the spine. Lengthen from the hips into the armpits. Armpits into the elbows, the wrists, the palms. Consciously extending, bringing real life into the pose along the floor. Bring consciousness into the feet by stamping them together. Raise your arms, just swap the interlock of the fingers so that the other index finger is on the top of the stack. Turn the palms all the way out. Keep the thumbs in contact if you can, and then lengthen your arms along the floor again. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to breath. And then release your arms, just rest your hands on your lower ribs. Just let the body relax into the floor for a moment, let the hips relax, let the feet relax. And then very gently draw your knees towards each other, give them assistance with your hands if you need to. And just have your knees together and your feet apart. So we've done a lot of work in the hips this morning. And then draw your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. And then if you've got a bolster handy, then I want you to lift the seat bones, place the bolster underneath the lower back so that the tailbone is just kind of hanging on the end of the bolster. Gather your shoulder blades together, hold onto the bolster, bend your knees, and then stretch your legs up into viparita karanhi. So have the sacrum on the bolster. Feel like you're on the tops of your shoulders so that the chest is lifted. Extend your legs up towards the ceiling. So from there, you can always, if you can bring yourself up into shoulder stand from the bolster. So this is a shoulder stand without things underneath your shoulders. So don't overdo it. It can be quite strong in your neck if you don't have the supports underneath. So just invert the body. When you've been there for long enough, you can just slide your hands down your back, bring yourself back onto the bolster, and then bring your legs back. Just stretching them up to the ceiling. But using the bolster underneath your seat bones, quite a good way to bring yourself up into shoulder stand. But don't overdo it. Okay, and then bend your knees. Bring your feet back down onto the floor. So bring yourself out of shoulder stand if you're still up there, bringing down and then the seat bones onto the bolster. And then lift the seat bones, roll the bolster away, have the bolster underneath your knees. And then if you've got a blanket handy, bring the blanket underneath your head, otherwise you just be directly on the floor. And just allow the body, just make sure you're in a good straight line, allow the body to release into the ground. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Let the body completely relax into the floor, letting go of the muscles of the arms and the legs, so that the body feels heavy on the ground. Consciously unhooking the muscles of the arms and the legs. And then observe from that heaviness comes an irrepressible lightness radiating from the bones, radiating into the muscles and into the organs, into the flesh and the skin. So allow that radiant energy to penetrate the muscles and the organs. Use your in-breath and your out-breath to distribute that feeling of energetic lightness evenly down into the toes and into the fingertips and up into the top of the head. Basking in that feeling of energetic lightness. And then wriggle your toes, wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, bring yourself back into this pose of shavasana. Bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster, have the feet apart, the knees together. For a moment, just rest in your hips. Bend your knees in towards your chest. Have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. And then gently roll over onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position. Just come back into cross legs with the hands in Namaste, a final spinal lift. Draw your breath in through your nose and down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you've released through your practice. That good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin forwards and down to make contact with the chest. Lift the chest up to meet the chin. Just spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you have created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. To people, to places, to things that need our positive energy. And then release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. Bring the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb. Just a gesture of wisdom, physical intelligence and peacefulness we can carry into our day. Raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel like you've really stretched yourself out along, especially around the hips and the lower back. Thank you very much for joining me.